What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, and today is Newsday. So we've got an update dropping in the game in the next, say, 4 or 5 days, something like that, and it's got some pretty interesting changes in it, so I figured I'd go ahead and cover the stuff that at least I was excited about, and maybe skim through the stuff that I wasn't quite as excited about. But there is some major changes coming to the game, and it might impact how you view the upcoming summon event this weekend, whether you spend your summons or kind of save on them. So I figured we jump in, cover a little bit of it, and then see what's going on. So, boop, boop, update. Alright, so this is going to be, I guess, like the Thanksgiving kind of update. You're going to drop, there's a lot of new stuff coming in here. We're going to just kind of skip this paragraph right meow and start down here, and then we'll work our way down. So, first things first, summons are being changed. Not necessarily like how they work, but your pity timers are being adjusted. So, previously, your pity timer started at 200 summons, and then by the time you reach 220 summons, you were guaranteed to grab out a hero. That is being adjusted backwards to 180 summons. So, now when you hit 180, you start your pity timer, and by 200 summons, you're guaranteed to get the legendary hero. This essentially just is going to save you 20 summons, essentially, I guess, in worst case scenarios, which is nice. There's really no downside to this at all. I like it. I'm not sure if Ancient Summons is a mistype here or if it just has a slightly higher base drop rate, but apparently their pity timer starts at 185 and not 180. I don't know. Divine Summons. These are a little different, right? These are your legendary skill crystals or summoning crystals that you grab out. Their pity timer actually starts at 12. I didn't know this. I actually had to look it up. But once it starts, before it was only a 2% increase every time you summon to get a legendary hero. That is being jacked all the way up to 5%. So that's more than double what it used to be. That's nice. And now within 20 summons, you're guaranteed a legendary hero. That's just good news. There's like literally no downside to these things. Just really nice little quality of life adjustments. Also the limited summons. So when you have heroes like Kagiri, Lust, these heroes that come around once in a great while and they're limited to an event, they've knocked the pity timer down on this from 250 to 200, and that is freaking awesome, right? That allows you to potentially save 50 summons per event. If you're just trying to grab one copy of your hero, that's super nice. So all of these changes right here for summons, absolute W's, I would say, for everybody. Really nothing bad about any of this. That's just good stuff. The hero changes, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not super duper concerned about these. A, I don't have either of the heroes, and B, I don't know, if you want to read up on what's getting changed for Valkyria and Kai, go check it out. I'm going to go ahead and just scoot right past that, because that's a lot of reading for something I'm not crazy excited about. Kind of the same deal here with the Guild War. I don't go like crazy into Guild Wars. It's, I would say, more of like a late game, in game kind of activity where you really focus on it, so I'm not too excited about this, but there is one thing I do like about this that I hope gets expanded to other areas of the game, and that is right here. Okay, so currently, when you equip gear on a hero, if you save them in your Guild War and then you go and do something else and remove that gear, the gear gets removed from your Guild War team as well, right? So if you are doing like your gear raid attacks and you've moved gear off of your heroes and someone attacks your base in Guild War, you're going to get absolutely decimated because your dude's naked, right? And that's not a good thing. Here, they're kind of changing that. So apparently, once you have saved gear and you can manually update it and change it, once you've done that, it is now stuck. It doesn't change unless you manually change it yourself. So if you unequip all the gear and artifacts off a hero to go, say, do the arena or a gear raid, that gear is still on those heroes in Guild War. This is really, really nice, and I hope they expand this into other areas of the game. I'd love to see this for every one of the gear raids. So if you're doing like Gear Raid 1 and you have all your gear on your AoE mages, but now you want to go do Gear Raid 3, you don't have to sit there and swap all your gear for your mages over to your marksmen to make that happen. That would be really nice. That's really the only thing about the Guild War that I was excited to see, and kind of hoping that that would eke its way into other areas of the game. Go ahead and scooch down. Gladiator's Gauntlet, it's like, I guess, a big server-wide Guild War against 2 servers. Again, not too crazy about it, so I'm going to go and just scooch right on past that down to this area. And this is where things are starting to get interesting. Okay, so, more interesting. Gear. Okay, so if you guys are still early on in the game, you're probably not going to know much about any of this stuff, so I'll try to explain it a little bit. If you're later in the game, you probably know more about it than I do, so I won't try to go too crazy with it. But essentially, In your Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3, and your Gear Dungeon 1 and 2, they're going to be increasing the drop quantity of Smoldering Scales and Sanguine Fabrics. If you don't know what those are, these are the crafting materials that you use to forge T3 gear. I just very, very recently unlocked the Gear Dungeons because you only unlock Gear Dungeon 1 and 2 when you've taken Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3 to Stage 18. So once you've cleared Stage 18, Gear Dungeon will unlock in these. That's where you get these things. You also get things like variant gear and stuff like that, but we'll cover that maybe in a little bit. So, increased quantity of these materials, obviously a good thing. They've added some new T3 sets to the game. Looks like a solid tanking set. HP defense bonuses. Looks pretty good. This is going to be a weapon and armor. Then you've got some 3-piece sets here. Cataclysm looks pretty interesting. Every time you land a crit hit with a basic attack, it increases your damage by 9% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. I believe this actually was 11% the other day, and they've edited this and re-uploaded it to have 9. But either way, for a lot of heroes that rely on their basic attack to deal damage, even when they're using their ults, so heroes like Lust, Deimos, heroes like this, they're going to pretty much have a constant uptime of 45% increased damage, just always. So that's pretty freaking good. That sounds like a pretty powerful set bonus to me. Could be wrong, but it sounds great, especially for a few heroes that really do basic attacks for everything. So that sounds nice. Wings of Grace, this is going to be a healing set, but also kind of a support set also. It's going to boost the attack of not only the hero wearing it, but the ally with the highest attack in range. So that's pretty nice. That's not only going to make your hero, especially an attack-based healer, heal a little better, it's also going to make your damage dealer hit a little harder. So that seems like a pretty nice support set for sure. Definitely want to keep an eye out on. But here's where things are kind of really changing up, and this is going to be exclusive gear. So anytime you obtain Mythic T3 gear, which I don't know why they had to put Mythic there, it's T3 gear. It's all Mythic, there's no T3 legendaries. But anytime you obtain that, you have a chance to obtain exclusive gear. Now this is going to be either specific to a hero or a faction. The way my intuition is putting this is that hero-specific gear is going to be weapon and armor, and faction-specific gear is going to be your accessories. That's just my gut feeling. I have no actual knowledge of this, so if I'm wrong, oopsie doopsie. If I'm right, I'm a genius. But anyways, when you put these gear, this gear on the specific, the corresponding hero or the faction, they get a little powerful, apparently, attribute boost. Some of the hero-specific stuff was also changed how certain abilities worked, or stuff like that. So this looks pretty interesting. So once you start getting into T3 Mythic gear, having exclusive gear being an option, I guess is going to have like a little bit more of a power creep jumping in there, so you can get a little bit stronger with your dudes, and apparently for some dudes much stronger. Exclusive gear also has ancient and variant versions. If you don't know about variant gear, it's essentially like an ancient piece of gear kinda, but it has a little extra set bonus kind of thing on it, but you don't have to equip the whole set to get it. So I have a piece of variant gear. I'll show you at the end so you kind of understand what's going on there if you don't know what variant gear is. But there we go. When you sell your ancient or variant mythic gear, you get some of the enhancement or ascending materials. There you go. Your ascending materials. You can ascend your regular mythic sets to T2 sets using these gear here. The Eternal Bullion is used to make ancient gear ascended, so any ancient mythics you have, this will take those to T2. But you can also get a shard for gear recasting hammers. These are nice if you get like a really great roll on a piece of gear, but the substats rolled like garbage. You can re-roll those substats and hopefully get higher values on them. Pretty nice. If you already sold stuff, they'll compensate you, blah, blah, blah. Not too worried about it. Quests and achievements. This is another interesting one. So right now, currently in the game, your daily, weekly, and monthly quests, while they do have rewards, they're not super duper great. Your daily rewards, people generally only do them for like event materials like right now, where if you do your daily quest, you can open up those little, whatever, the little keys or whatever they are. And also you get like 30 diamonds a day. So that's mainly what keeps people doing their quests, because the other rewards are pretty mediocre. Apparently this is getting changed. So they're going to start enhancing your quests as you complete them. So I'm not sure if this is going to enhance like the daily reward, like the 30 diamonds, or enhance all of the quest rewards individually for each daily quest. Either way, having the quest give more loot or better loot than they currently do is just going to be a win, because like mid-late game players, your daily, weekly, and monthly quests give you very little to be excited about. So hopefully this is going to change things up and make them even better. It says after the update, which is going to be on Monday for me, maybe earlier or later for you, depending on where you live, that this enhancement is going to be like, I guess, like put back on you retroactively. I'm not sure how they're going to do this because it's a little bit vague on that. It says according to your current progress. I don't know if that's going to be like your overall team battle power, and that's where it puts it in. Your overall campaign progress, if it's going to be like if they've actually kept track of how many times you completed daily, weekly, and monthly quests. I'm not sure how that's going to be applied to your account, but apparently you're not going to lose, like if you're a year deep, you're not going to lose all that progress. So that'll be kind of nice. They've changed a couple of the quests. They got rid of the enhanced gear 3 times quest. I'm okay with this. That was kind of an annoying one to have to do, mainly because you don't really want to enhance gear outside of like events for enhancing gear. And also 3 times is an annoying number anyways, because no one really enhances gear 3 times. You either enhance gear in sets of 4, or that's all you do, right? You don't do 3 enhances. So that was just kind of a weird one. They've changed the 3-piece gear raid deal to 1 piece of gear from gear raid. I also like this one because if there's no event going on for a gear raid right now, it kind of sucks to blow 60 stamina in a gear raid just to do a daily quest that probably isn't going to reward you very much for doing it. At least this kind of knocks it back a little bit, so you're only going to waste like 20 stamina, and that's not too bad. They added also a new quest to do your faction trial every day. I think that's just a good change. It's easy to forget your faction trials, so if there's a daily quest to do it, it'll definitely keep it logged in your brain to go make sure you're doing that. I think that's pretty good. They've changed the rewards for Odyssey quests, and they've revamped, I guess, a couple of those. If you don't know what the Odyssey quests are, that is going to be once you complete the main storyline quest in the game, you'll unlock the Odyssey, and that gives you, I guess, a bunch of new goals to go ahead and complete with different rewards. It's a very, very long and more in-game aimed quest line. They said they've apparently changed some of those stuff, changed rewards, lowered difficulties, stuff like that. They've added some new achievements and medals for the Immortal Codex and the Tide. It's kind of nice because right now those 2 modes, they're really just stuff you do on your own. There was no like external boost for doing so, and now at least you can get some achievements or medals for doing them, and that's kind of cool. Login stuff, not going to worry about it. Not going to worry about too much right here. The skin shop, you'll check the skin shop out when it comes in. The other things they've added here, Chapter 10 to the campaign normal. I'm assuming this is going to be quite difficult content because right now I'm in like Chapter 9 and it's up there, right? It's much, much harder than Chapter 8 was by friggin' tons. So I'm assuming this will be something I don't probably touch for a little while, but it is a new thing. I'm not sure when they're going to take these chapters like 9 and 10 and move them into hard and extreme modes. I'm not sure why those aren't here. Maybe they're just slow rolling it for a reason. But a couple things I also like here is this change right here. This is a big one for me. After clearing stage 18 on gear raids 1, 2, and 3, the last slot of the Dwarven Association will offer items from the following list. So, no more absolute garbage crap popping up in your last slot in the shop that you spent 200 gems or so to unlock. And it's like, oh look, you want to buy freaking 3 blue marksman insignias for 12 diamonds? And I'm like, no, I don't. That's stupid. Now we don't got to worry about that. So that last spot is going to turn into rare summoning crystals. Obviously, you're going to buy those every time you see them. Mythic extracts. These are great when they pop up for gold. Go ahead and snag those out and get your dudes promoted. Really, really nice. Probably won't buy a lot of them for diamonds, but I guess if you're so inclined, that's also available. Stamina times 100. I don't generally tend to buy raw stamina. I tend to purchase the stamina potions instead. One, they're discounted. They're 200 stamina, and I can use them whenever I want instead of just blocking up all of my stamina that I currently have. Legendary summoning crystal shards. I think this is the first time in the game that I've seen where you can actually purchase shards for legendary summoning crystals so that you can eventually just have them. I'm not sure if there's going to be gold versions and diamond versions. Be interesting to see how that plays out. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Same with these ancient summoning crystal shards. Being able to just kind of farm your own ancient summoning crystals by keeping an eye on your shop all day. Not bad. I'm okay with that. Refining crystals, another thing that can be pretty useful. That's for re-rolling a single substat on a piece of gear. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, shards for gear recasting hammers as well. So to me, that's a really nice change. It just kind of makes sense. That last slot being so late to unlock, it really doesn't make sense for it to always suck, especially into the later game. Like 90% of the stuff that rolls in that slot, you're never going to buy. At least this way, you have a chance at seeing something you actually want and being able to purchase it. Moving down, after you clear stage 18 in gear raid 1, 2, and 3, all the gear available in the shop is going to be mythic gear. And that, again, also just makes sense. There is no reason to be finding legendary or purple gear in your shop anymore once you've completed stage 18, because you never drop those. Okay, those are you're only ever going to drop mythic gear from your raids. Why is the shop so lagging behind? You're never going to buy a piece of legendary gear. It's never going to be good, right? So that's nice. Another good little change. They've changed a couple things with your daily sign-in rewards. Not too worried about that. Just kind of stuff. They did increase the chance for exclusive artifacts in the Titan and Wisdom Forge from 2 to 4%. I haven't gotten into that area yet, but that's essentially the later stages of Artifact Material Raid will drop you Titan Forge or Wisdom Forge artifact material. These are going to be for ground platform units, ground tile units, and the Wisdom will be for platform units. You have a chance to roll exclusive artifacts, which is pretty nice. But doubling that chance seems like a step in the right direction. 2% is an incredibly low chance, so that's definitely nice. Will it go up higher in the future? I don't know, but that seems pretty good. What else we got going on here? Oh, this one right here seemed pretty nice too. When you're in your gear interface and you're changing a single piece of gear on your hero, you can now preview the changes in the hero's attributes and battle power. This is really nice. I don't know why that wasn't a thing from the get-go, but it's nice to be able to say, like, if I change this weapon to this weapon, the stats are slightly different, set bonus is the same. Like, what am I looking at? How much of a difference am I actually going to see here? And that's nice to be able to see that with your eyes and not have to, like, go into the quick equip and try to swap things around. This is definitely nice, a good change. 11 here, this is talking about those Titan Forge and Wisdom Forge stages. So apparently they split your preset teams from stage 19 and 22 up a little bit. So for 19 and 21, you can use one preset, and 20 to 22 uses another. These are going to be your, I believe it's 19 and 21 might be the Titan. Don't quote me on it, could be wrong. But these ones are split up to be Titans, and these are your Wisdom. So apparently you have 2 different team presets for those 2 stages. Not sure how big of a difference that makes if people are really looking for that, but it's now a thing. But there we go. That is the event in bulk covered. I skipped over some things. If you're really interested in those things, you can go back and read those. We'll scroll through this just for a second because there's a couple things, or at least one thing in here they didn't show in this. So first off, as the release date, as soon as the update happens, the new campaign chapter opens up. You get some new enemies. You get some new bosses. You get some new clear rewards. That's always nice. Exclusive gear. So this is why I think that hero-specific gear is going to be tied to weapons and armor, and then the faction-specific gear is going to be your accessories, because these are the 2 pieces they show. One's a weapon and one's an armor. As you can see, they've got a special little insignia up here that's got a hero and a star on it, so you'll know when you've pulled a piece of exclusive gear. It's also going to look a little different, obviously, as well. But as you can see here, it looks like the stat bonuses are not guaranteed to roll well. Now, I don't know if this is going to be different if the piece rolls as an ancient or as a variant, if those rolls will be guaranteed to be good or at least better. Because right now, the Abomination breastplate looks kind of like balls. I wouldn't want to put that on my guy. Whereas the Cetram weapon looks like it rolled pretty well. I'd be pretty happy with that. But as you can see, you're going to get little special bonuses to your heroes. For Cetram, increased damage to shields. I'm not sure if this is actually what his gear will look like in game. I'm assuming it will. But when he's overloaded, he gains 10% penetration. We can't tell exactly what the end of this is. He boosts something, but essentially a little boost for Abomination when he casts his ult. He's going to have a better chance to trigger his basic attack or his charge attack. Nice stuff. So this is interesting. I'm not sure how the variants and the exclusive or the ancient gear is going to work out for exclusives. I guess we'll see when it actually drops. This goes over the set bonuses, Guild War, the new maps, the new unit, some emotes, a new skin, other stuff, and then the exclusive artifact shards. So it didn't talk about this in the update announcement, but that's probably because it doesn't start until the end of November, 11/22. So it'll be a little later on. But a new exclusive artifact coming in for Alara, which is, I guess, nice. I'm not sure what it's going to actually do, but there you go. That is the basics of everything covered. So if you're kind of newer and you don't really know about the raids, stick around. If you've already gotten what you wanted to know, peace out, homies. Appreciate you being here. But if you're newer, we'll go and look at some of this gear raid stuff real quick so you can kind of see what's going to happen. So gear raid 1, 2, and 3, as you've pushed these down and you clear stage 18, once you've done that in all 3 of these, you're going to unlock the gear dungeons. So your gear dungeons, as you see, can drop T3 stuff, which is nice. That's your new business. Go check it out here. You get 100 keys every time these open. I believe they're shared. They're not shared. I'm a liar who lies about things. Don't listen to a word that I say. They are not shared. They're different. You have master keys, I think, can be used on any of them. You get them from your monthly quests, and I've guessed from maybe the Void Rift. I've gathered some. I don't know. But you get all these keys to go in here. You use a key plus stamina to do each fight. As you fight deeper and deeper into the thing, you'll unlock these dungeon crystals, which you can use in the dungeon shop to unlock different stuff like unidentified weapons, which turn into potentially variant gear and stuff like that. And then same thing down here. So, boom. Gear dungeons. Once you reach stage 3, you're going to unlock the ability to start farming the sanguine fabrics and the smoldering scales, which you can use in the forge to forge your T3 gear. There is a little bit of a difference here, and I'm not sure the difference. My assumption, because I haven't really pulled a lot of these and tested yet, is that for these variant unidentified gear that turns into variant gear, there is regulars, which is this little purple question mark here. Then there is this yellow one, and this says unidentified fine weapon, which in my mind, I'm going to assume that means that this is essentially going to be an ancient roll for a variant, so it's guaranteed to roll well, whereas this one is going to be like regular mythic gear. You don't know if it's going to roll well or not, but it's still going to be a variant. And then you've got obviously your chances to farm your regular mythics, bangles and stuff like that. All that good stuff can come out of here. Your ascension materials as well have a chance to drop. And as you push higher and higher in here, the amount of crystals you get go up. The amount of sanguine fabric and stuff doesn't really change, but that's what the update's supposed to do, is adjust these to drop more. And that makes sense because it does take, I think, 20 of each, or 20 to forge one time. So that's something to look into. As you can see, the power level gets pretty crazy here. We're not going to go too in depth on that, but I've only currently got one piece of variant gear, and as far as I can tell, there's no way to see after it's dropped, like if it was a fine piece of variant gear or just a piece of variant gear. So this is it here. It rolled for a healer, and it rolled really well for a healer. Healing effect, HP bonus, attack speed, rage regen, attack, and the variant down here that you can see, aggression, adds 300 more attack. So it's not a massive boost, but if you get this on a lot of pieces of gear, that can definitely add up. That said, it does look a little bit different than regular ancient gear. As you can see, these are ancient pieces over here. I don't have tons of them. Are they glowy? Yes, but this one is a little more glowy. It's got like little wavy lines going around it, and it also looks different. So if you look at this, this is also a piece of the same, I don't even know how you say that. Is it Asclepius? I don't know. The angel wing gear, there you go. This one's got a little green crystal in it, and this one's got a purple crystal. So I'm not sure if that's because this actually rolled as a fine piece of variant gear, or if this is just how variant gear, it does just look a little different, based on being a variant. Because regular pieces like this is wisdom, the wisdom set here. It looks the same whether it's ancient mythic, ancient legendary, or just regular. There's no change. So I don't know if that's just weird and I got a buggy one, or if they're just going to naturally look different. But there you go. There's your variant gear, a little bit of a rundown. This is where you'll forge your T3 sets. They're obviously adding sets to this as well. Your sanguine fabrics are going to do your wicked vengeance and light's grace. Smoldering scale has a whole lot more sets that it drops, so that can be a little bit more annoying probably for you. But there you go. Gear ascension. If you don't have gear to ascend, or you've never tried to ascend, essentially it ascends these gears from regular sets like the wisdom to a new T2 set. It also increases their main stat by a little bit. None of their substats are going to change, so that stays the same. And as you can see, this is going to take your Eternal Bullions, as well as some of these here. Whereas if you're going to upgrade just one of these, you only need the Spirits. You don't actually need the Eternal Bullion to take a piece of non-ancient gear to the higher tier set. The reason to do this is obviously they're just going to be stronger versions for what you're doing. So this has a healing effect of 20 and max HP. This gives you 25 healing effect, but also is going to increase the attack of the hero and one random ally in range. The T3 set that we covered before is actually 30% heal effect, or 30 heal effect, so it's even higher than this, and it guarantees that that attack roll goes to your highest attack unit in range. So the T2s are stronger than the T1s, obviously, and your T3 is going to be improvements on the T2s. So that's how that all works. I haven't done a whole bunch of that. Here's your recasting, so if you want to like re-roll your substats, like you got substats here, but they rolled bad, you can try to roll them again and get better rolls for either good or bad gear. Your refining, it's going to be kind of the same concept, except for instead of re-rolling all of them, you re-roll one at a time, and it shows you the stat ranges that it can roll to. But there you go. quick rundown on the gear stuff in case you haven't gotten there yet. Now you kind of know what to look forward to. It does take a little while to clear those stage 18 gear raids, so if you're not there yet, don't feel bad. It's not super easy to get there, but there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button to show your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.